see, we're right next to a highway right there. This little beaver pond is in an area that's basically an industrial park, apartment complex type area. There are light manufacturing facilities all around us and an apartment complex right down the road. I've just pulled off the side of the road and I've put in a couple of snare sets. And here is one of my snare sets. And this is right along the edge of the dam. I've put the snare in, secured it using an earth anchor. I've added some flagging there, some blocking, and I've smeared some of my beaver lure on it. And the idea is the beaver will swim checking his dam, and he'll attempt to locate the source of the smell and swim through my snare and get caught. Just a few feet away, I have a snare on the crossover of the dam. Right there. And you can see it's supported by a number 9 wire. And the idea being that the best beaver lure you can have is another live beaver. So if I catch one of these in any of these two sets that are just a few feet apart, it's going to attract other beavers, and hopefully I'll end up with a double here. Okay, one of the keys to doing the gutless method of field dressing any animal is to understand that we're going to take hind quarter, front quarter, and then the back straps. What you have to do is you have to know on each animal where the ball and socket is on the hind quarters. And I'm going to show you how to pop that off. Now there's a ridge, a bony ridge right here, and that's what I'm feeling for, and I'm going to cut down along that ridge. Let's see how I'm trimming that away. You can see it right there. Let's see, as soon as I get my knife in, as soon as I cut that, like that, I've got that ball out of that socket. Now the leg quarter is mine. Now all I have to do is trim. You can see right there. Now you're probably thinking this is not too sanitary because I'm doing it on the tailgate of my pickup truck, and you're right, but the meat that I'm going to have is surrounded by a layer of fat, and I'm going to trim all of that off anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And you can see there was the socket. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other leg. Let me turn the animal around. I'll feel for that ridge of bone. Once again, I'm looking for that socket, and you can see it is right there. See it? And as soon as I cut that tendon, it pulls away. And there's my hind quarter. That'll get trimmed up and cleaned up. So I've got both hind quarters. Now I'm going to take the front shoulders, once again, you can see I've popped that ball out of the socket. Right there. Do the same thing on this shoulder. Okay. There. Alright, at this point I've got both hind quarters and both front quarters off. Now I'm going to take the back straps. Now when I'm doing this, I also take a lot of the flank steak and shoulder meat as well, and then I trim it all up later. And there we go. There's a little pocket of meat right in there. Okay, let's get the other one. The reason I stop right here, the tail meat, when you get down in here on an older beaver, there is a lot of tendons and connective tissue down in there, and it's really tough. There we go. Now at this point, I've got the majority of the back straps, both hind quarters, both front quarters. And at this point, you can cherry pick it all you want, or you can be done with it depending upon how many you have. But there's not a whole lot of meat left on this beaver. There's some meat on the ribs. Most of this flank steak right in here is very thin, and by the time you cut away what's dirty and contaminated, you won't have anything left. Some people do eat the tongue. That's up to you, but basically that's the majority of the meat off of that beaver right there. And I've got one more little one to do that won't take nearly as long, and there won't be nearly as much meat on it. But anyway, the reason I showed you this is that you can do this in the field on the back of your pickup truck. I've skinned the beaver here and I've boned it out. Got the meat in a plastic bag. Now what I'll do is I'll chill the meat and get it firm so that it's easy to work with. And then I'll go through with a fillet knife and I'll trim out all of the fat, all of the exterior membrane, and with that, all of the contamination from the bed of the pickup will come off as well, and what you'll be left with is some very nice, very clean meat. You can take a look, and that's just some beautiful, beautiful red meat that's on this animal. And in my opinion, it's better than beef. I mean, that right there, that's good meat. And as far as the carcass is concerned, I feed a lot of this to my dog. I've got an Aussie, and she's getting old, and I think the good protein really keeps her going. A lot of people will gut the carcass, grind it completely up, bones and all, and use that as dog food. You can probably sell these carcasses to people that feed their dogs a meat diet if you don't have a dog. But it's good meat. Everything likes it. It makes good bait. So even the carcass has value. I just do this the gutless method because I don't like fooling with the guts, and when you have a pile of them to do, it takes you a long time to do it. I don't have to worry about getting into the castor glands, getting into the bladder or the urine, or contaminating any meat like that at all. So that's how I do it.